When I first joined, everybody told me you gotta buy a home. You gotta use your VA loan. It's $0 down. You're gonna get rich. And I did it. I bought the house. On paper, it all worked out. I made $85,000 over 6 years having my home, but that's on paper. There are things that I wish someone would have told me before I signed up for a mortgage. There are also things that I think that I did right that I want to share with you, because buying real estate can build wealth, but it does come with hidden costs and stress that no one really talks about. So let's break it down together. What is it like buying a home in the military? Is it a smart move for you? Or is it a money trap? The dream is this, and it's not just sold to the military, it is the American dream. Buy a home. For us in the military, it's buy a home at every duty station, PCS, and then convert it into a rental. Let it build equity over time. Now, that's all great, but this is what reality taught me. PCSing may force you to sell or rent when the market is down. You don't necessarily get a choice. You don't know what the market is going to do, and you have to move. When you're far from home, that means that you are going to have to rely on someone else to take care of this home that you own, and no one is going to take care of it like you are. And if you get a property manager, that's great, but now you're paying them and that's less money coming into your pocket, and you might not have that much cash flow. You can get house poor real quick. I've seen it. I've seen it in Marines. Your money gets locked up in this home. You're not prepared for the repairs. Something happens and you have no cash flow. You are not ready. You didn't have a down payment on that house. So you have no equity to pull out at that moment, and you're in a situation. Let's talk about some of the facts and statistics of a VA home loan. As most of you guys know, there is no down payment for a VA home loan. This is beneficial because you don't have to save a 3 to 20% home down payment, and this allows some people to buy a home sooner. There is also no PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Typically, with a conventional loan, if you don't put 20% down, you will have to pay PMI. This can be anywhere from $80 to $200+ a month. Typically, with a VA home loan, there are lower average rates. Typically, the VA home loan will be 0.25 to 0.5% lower than conventional loans, which can save you money, obviously. There are also, with a VA home loan, flexible credit requirements, which again allow you, even though you're not ready, to be able to buy a home sooner. So there's another thing with the VA loan, which is a funding fee. Most borrowers will have to pay a 1 to 3% funding fee on their VA home loan. It's a one-time fee, and if you have a service-related disability, they will waive it, but this will be directly added into your loan and rolled up in the loan cost. So you won't even see it, but it is there. You're rolling this fee into this mortgage. That means that you're going to be paying for that fee for the next 30 years. Paying interest on that fee for the next 30 years. Another thing with the VA home loan is that you are going to be defaulted to a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. You don't have any option of doing a shorter term 15-year fixed rate mortgage, which is something to consider. If you wanted to pay your home loan off faster, you have to go in and manually do that, which is, you have to have a muscle built to pay your home off fast. But just know that you're going to default to a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. With VA home loans, people don't stay in the home, as you can expect, as long as they would stay in a traditional home. Typically, service members will stay there 2 to 3 years, and then we're either becoming a long distance landlord or we're selling that home after only having it for 2 to 3 years. That doesn't give us enough time to really see equity and really see the market upturn. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to really get the benefit of buying that home because you're not in it long enough. This could mean that when you sell, you have to pay at closing, potentially. You don't have any choice. You have to move when the military tells you to move. VA loan default rates are higher than traditional loans. And with VA home loans, buyers typically only have this loan 7 to 9 years, and then they sell the home and then they buy a new one. So that means that you are paying interest over and over and over again. If you're looking at your mortgage's amortization table, you're going to see how much of your payment is going towards interest and how much is going towards your principal. And if you look at it, typically you're not paying a lot towards your principal until you get to 20 years. So if you keep starting your loan over before you're getting to that 20-year mark, you're paying mostly interest. It's just the truth. I want to go back to the no down payment and being able to buy with a lower credit score. So these can sound like really great benefits, but the thing about being able to buy a home with no percent down is that allows people that don't have the muscle of saving money to buy a home. And a home needs you to have money saved because things can happen. Repairs, you got to account for insurance, you need to account for taxes. You're looking just at the mortgage number, but with a home there is so much more that you need to pay for. And so this can often allow people that are not financially stable the ability to buy a home. So I want that to be clear and reiterated because I don't want you to get into a home that you cannot afford. I don't want the home to own you instead of you owning this home. So the nuance that I want to bring to this conversation is really knowing the numbers when you go to buy your home, knowing everything from your fees to your taxes to your HOA to your insurance, to what you are going to need to put aside for maintenance, all of it. There is a great calculator by the New York Times that can show you, you can put in your city and it'll show you what is the cost of renting versus the cost of buying. There are cases where it is going to cost you more to buy a home than it would cost you to rent. And you can make so much more money putting the difference that you would pay to own a home in that same city and invest that money and be done with it and rent and have peace and not have to worry at 2 a.m. that the faucet is broken because you don't have to fix it. Your landlord has to fix it. I'll talk a little bit more about my story of buying a home because I do think overall it was positive. I bought a home in North Carolina and it was a pretty cookie cutter house, nothing special, move-in ready. Some of the things that I did well with buying this home are having a roommate, not acting like, oh, I bought a house, now I have to buy all of this furniture and I have to make it look this way and have magazine ready. No, I just bought a home. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I just bought a home. I got a roommate to help me pay for this home. And I did not buy a $5,000 couch. I did not spend thousands of dollars in furniture. I still acted like I was broke because I was broke. A part of me knew I was broke. That meant that I was not putting a whole lot of money into this home that really I couldn't afford. I didn't really have any reason buying it in the first place. I PCS'd and I kept the house and I had a property manager take care of the house, rent it out, and I had steady renters for the 2 years that I rented it out. It's very nice to have renters that were consistent, and I think the benefit of being in a military town is that you're always going to have someone that needs to rent, and it's going to be a pretty consistent flow of renters. So that is a positive when you're talking about renting out your home. After about 6 years of owning my house overall, when I sold it, I was able to sell it for about $85,000 more than I bought it for. Now, that doesn't account for all of the money that I paid in interest. It doesn't account for any maintenance. It doesn't account for the taxes that I had to pay on my rental income. It's just that's the sticker price difference between the two. So one thing that people don't talk about when you own a home and you're so far away from it, there are stressors. What if these renters move out and there's no renter to come back into it? What if there is a big repair, like the HVAC or the roof? What if the market dips and I only break even or I even lose money? So all of that stress is going on in the back of your mind when you are buying a home and being a long distance landlord. Real estate can build wealth, but it is not risk free and it is not passive income. Should you buy a home while you're in uniform? These are the things that I want you to ask yourself before you use your VA home loan. First, do you have a security fund for any maintenance or repairs? Do you have the ability to save consistently? Because just because you have one when you buy does not mean you shouldn't continue to save money and put money away for repairs. This is a skill that you should have before you buy a home. Are you going to be able to live there long enough to recoup at least your closing costs? A lot of the times, if you're only there for 2 to 3 years, you really need to think about whether you are going to be able to recoup those costs. Do you really know your local market? Not just what Zillow is saying, but do you actually understand how much your local market typically goes up historically or down? What are the actual numbers in the market that you are looking to buy? Understand that before you buy a home. If PCS were to happen tomorrow, would you be able to rent or sell without losing money? Which goes back to the first point. Are you able to at least recoup the closing costs? If the answer to any of these are no, you are not behind. You are being strategic. Buying a home is not the only way to build wealth, and it's certainly not the only way to become a millionaire. Do not rush just to say that you own a home. Run the numbers. Talk to your CFS, check out that rent versus buy calculator, and protect your peace always. Your dream home deserves to be a blessing and not a burden. Here are your next steps. Take my free Abundant Archetype quiz to learn your wealth building style, and then use my abundance allocation tracker to actually budget for joy, security, and legacy. This is all part of the $1 Million Service Member Series. The next video, we are going to talk about the TSP and Roth IRAs and how even $50 a month can help get you on the right path to building wealth. Subscribe, share this video, drop in the comments, is there anything that you would like me to cover next? What did you think of this conversation? What was your experience using your VA home loan? Let us know. You deserve to be a millionaire and beyond, and you deserve to feel safe while you build it.